This right here is the epitome of it must be a slow news day. But before I get into this story, let me give a shout out to K Gravity because he sent me this. And at first I'm looking like the first thing I notice is that, oh God, it's another white person posting up a video of a black person doing something egregious to a white person, and they're trying to use that as an excuse to go after black people. But then I scrolled through the comment section and then I noticed something very interesting. But before I actually get into the interesting part, let me go over the post itself. So you have this person whose name is Thomas Greenburg, and they go by the name of Tommy Razor Cuts. And they posted up this video. In the caption it says 17-year-old left disabled after firefighters subdue him for assaulting grandmother, and mother demands $500,000 in compensation. But that was the caption on the video itself. But in the actual caption that he has right here, he said a 17-year-old black racist boy rides by a old lady, punches her in the eye, and tries to get away. Meanwhile, 4 firemen saw this and hunted him found. They didn't even type down correctly. Just so many grammatical errors. Justice served. So that's what they wrote. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause my commentary right here so you can actually see the video clip for yourself, and then we're gonna go over it because this is absolutely ridiculous.
A 17-year-old teenager was left disabled after being beaten by 4 firefighters when he attacked an elderly woman. His mother later tearfully demanded $500,000 in court. The incident began when 17-year-old Tyrell Johnson was riding his bike, suddenly turned and punched a 60-year-old grandmother, Martha Anderson, in the face without any provocation. 4 firefighters nearby witnessed the attack and immediately jumped into action. They chased Johnson down, pinned him to the ground, and held him until police arrived. Bystanders called 911, and both Tyrell and Martha were rushed to the hospital. According to police reports, Johnson suffered severe injuries during the confrontation, including fractured ribs and a broken leg, severe bruising to his face, and a shattered left hand, which would likely cause permanent disability. Martha, fortunately, was treated and found to have no life-threatening injuries. Johnson was charged with first-degree assault. However, his mother took legal action against the local fire department, claiming the 4 firefighters had brutally beaten her 17-year-old son. She demanded they be sent to jail, and that the fire department pay $500,000 in compensation for damages. The court ultimately dismissed her lawsuit. The judge ruled that the 4 firefighters deserved a medal for their heroic actions. Tyrell is still hospitalized and will face assault charges upon his release. Do you think the judge's ruling was...
So y'all just saw the clip right there, and I'm gonna play it over again. And the first thing I noticed, actually this is going back to when I was talking about scrolling down, and I saw a picture, a post that Kid Gravity had left underneath the initial post, and he said something about Ralph Yarl. And when I looked at the video and I saw the picture that they put up of this alleged 17-year-old boy who did what he did, I said, wait a minute, that is Ralph Yarl. Now, if y'all don't remember, Ralph Yarl was the young boy who was going from house to house looking for his brother, and he went to this one old white man's house to try to look for his brother in the neighborhood, and he ended up shooting Ralph Yarl. Thankfully, he ended up surviving. Now, what's interesting is this story happened in New York. What happened was Ralph Yarl wasn't even in the state of New York. And to top it off, Ralph Yarl wasn't even 17 at the time when this happened. He was younger. I think Ralph was probably maybe 13 at best, maybe 13. He wasn't, we know for a fact he wasn't 17. So already they are incorporating a story involving someone who could have lost their life in a very tragic way into this story to fit a narrative. Now, I don't know who is narrating this video, but they are straight up lying. And then this Thomas Greenburg person put it out there as if it was true. And then on top of that, they said that his name is Tyrell Johnson. No, his name is Ralph Yarl. He was not 17. He did not ride around on a bike and assault this woman. Now, the only thing that we can see that happened in this video is that this man, whoever this is, rode around on this bike and swung on this woman, which we can clearly see, and he was chased down by some people and he was apprehended. Hold on to that. Put a pin in that one right there. Then they said something about the mother and everything like that. I don't even think that's Ralph Yarl's mother. I think that's just a woman who is attached to the case somehow, who just happens to be black. And they ended up putting that out there and saying that his mother was seeking $500,000 in compensation because of what they did to her son, and that the judge overruled it, and that the people who did it, the fire department, deserved a medal. So again, this right here is nothing but one big propaganda piece that this Thomas Greenburg, with the assist of whoever made the actual video, put out there in order to have, of course, more scrutiny fall on the shoulders and backs of black people living in this establishment. But what makes it even more interesting is that I didn't even have to scroll even that far further down into the post to find the actual story of what actually occurred. Check this out. You see this write-up, this was not a write-up, it's a clipping from the article, the title. Now, what I'm about to read out to you actually is going to display what actually occurred. So the actual story, it says firefighters turn into crime fighters, take down man who allegedly assaulted a 60-year-old woman in Bed-Stuy Street. And I circled the date, y'all. This happened around or on September 6th, 2020. So this was during the time of the pandemic. What happened with Ralph Yarl happened maybe 3 years after. I want to say it was in 2023 when what happened with him actually occurred. So already the dates don't even line up. But let's go into the article. We're going to read the article itself because actually I didn't even know this story existed. So this right here is new to me. Members of the FDNY, or the Fire Department of New York, jumped into action after witnessing a recent assault in Brooklyn right outside a fire station. CBS 2's Jenna DeAngelis got a look at the surveillance video on Sunday. The clip shows a woman in a blue shirt walking down the sidewalk on Hancock Street in Bedford-Stuyvesant when a man on a bicycle swerves over and punches her in the face, knocking her down. He speeds off as 4 people race behind him. The pursuers were firefighters and they continued the chase around the corner and took the man to the ground. Meanwhile, others were seen checking on the 60-year-old victim. It's bad. You can't hit a woman. She's very nice. The whole family. I grew up with them and they are very nice, said twin Al Zakari of nearby J&A Deli and Grocery. Al Zakari said he watched the FDNY jump into action after the assault on August 26th. Now listen to this, y'all. That video that was posted to make it seem like it recently happened, it's August 10th. So how in the world could we have done a time jump from now to August 26th and then do a time jump backwards to 2020 when this actually happened? Like, I mean, unless we have a time machine or something I don't know about and we was able to switch the people around. Listen, if somebody out there can tell me, please let me know. Which happened around 5 p.m. right in front of the firehouse. I just see the guy running with the bike and I see the fire department came after him, Al Zakari said. The fire department stayed with the suspect until police arrived and took him away in handcuffs as a crowd watched on. Now, I want you to listen to this next part because this is what's going to blow this propaganda lie sky high. The NYPD identified the suspect as 53-year-old Daniel Biggs. That is a major age leap from 17. And his name is Daniel Biggs, not Terrell Johnson. Even in the video, the person that they put up there in plastered name wasn't even Terrell Johnson. Nor were they 17, definitely not 53. And their name wasn't Daniel Biggs. Police say he has 18 prior arrests from robbery to assault. The most recent came on August 7th after he allegedly slashed a 26-year-old man on the face. Biggs is apparently a recognizable face in the community. He comes, buys his stuff and leaves, and that's about it. I was like, why did he do it? Al Zakari said. During the August 26th incident, while he was being restrained, Biggs punched a 29-year-old firefighter in the eye, causing bruising and swelling. Neighbors said they're grateful for the firefighters' bravery. You feel safe. They're always helping the community, and that's a very good job what they did, Al Zakari said. Police said the alleged attacker and the victim were strangers, adding the motive for the assault is unclear. She suffered a cut on the mouth, but police said she refused medical attention on the scene. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, what I just read to you, that was the actual story. This is something that happened nearly 5 years ago. It happened in New York. The man's name is Daniel Biggs and he's 53 years old and he's been known to do stuff like this, as you can see, like we was reading through. He's not 17. His name is not no Terrell Johnson or Jackson or whatever they said. The person in the picture that they use in the video, his name is Ralph Yarl. He wasn't even 17 when what happened to him occurred, unfortunately. And he wasn't even in the state of New York. But if you thought this was bad, I want y'all to check out what happens when the person who actually put the real story out there, which is how I acquired this article, how the people responded to them even after they told her, even after she told them that it was a lie, and she provided proof with this article that I just read. So shout out to this woman named Gabrielle Clark. She responded with This whole story is a straight up lie. And then someone replied to her and said, how is that? You don't believe what you see? And then that's when she posted a link to the article where she says, no, and neither should you. But it gets worse from here. Like how a lot of them came and swarmed her comments to try to tell her that she was lying, even though she posted the actual article, is insane. This person right here responded to him and said, yo, Gabrielle. And then they put a GIF in there from Breaking Bad and said, are you effing remedial? I'm not going to say the actual word, but you can see it right there. And she says, no, but clearly you are. And then she posted the link again, but it gets even worse because it's like, again, she's constantly posting the link to the actual article, but they're refusing to see what it actually is because in their minds, they planted the seed has been planted that it was this black kid named Terrell Jackson, age 17, that attacked this woman, not a 53-year-old man named Daniel Biggs who attacked the 60-year-old woman in Bed-Stuy, New York back in 2020. You have this one person right here at the top that left this long lengthy post that I'm not going to read all of. I'm just going to read up to show more. It says, can't handle the notion the kid's hand got busted up on the old lady's face. Can't handle that a black guy is his doing. Can't cope with the reality that both of them have injuries exactly consistent with his assault or on her as seen in the security footage, and then so on and so forth. Another person said, what's fake about it? The woman clearly had been punched. Now's the time to quit being so obscure and speak up. Another one said it actually happened, but yes, I don't think the lawsuit or anything like that is true, but the situation happened. I believe the guy was older than 17 as well. It wasn't even a 17-year-old, and his name wasn't even Terrell Jackson. That's the whole point. Someone else says, and you know this how? Another one said, based upon, tell us why it's a lie. Were you there? It says the woman who raised a few thugs of her own. It says right when I see it. So it goes on and on and on because in their mind, when it comes to violence, they immediately think of black men, especially young black men. Like this was the perfect setup for them. And the thing about it is the person who posted this Thomas Greenburg, Thornburg, whoever it was, probably knew it was a lie, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. But let's just hypothetically say that they did. They knew exactly what they were doing because they knew exactly how to rile white people up. This is why I say the descendants of the Klan, they are not bright. They do not do research. This reminds me of when I was talking about in the video, the live stream that I did on Joey Swole, and how in the beginning of it, if y'all were there, I had talked about how Michael Rappaport literally said out of his own mouth that he doesn't do research. Before he goes and talks about anything, he just acts on impulse. That's exactly what they do. They're acting on impulse. And the crazy part about it is I didn't even have to go very far to find out what the truth of it was. I just scrolled down a little bit and clicked on the link to the article of the same woman that these people are getting into a back and forth with. And they could have did the same thing, but they're choosing not to because it goes against their narrative that they have painted out about us. So since the video they saw shows that it was a black teen, well, to them it displays or it talks about a black teen attacking this white woman in wherever in New York, that's what they're gonna go with every single time. They are the ones that believe their lying eyes and their lying thoughts and whatever that goes on in that head of theirs where a brain should be, because there's nothing there. It's hollow, it's empty. You yell into your ear and it's just echoing and your voice is bouncing off the walls of their head, of that skull of theirs. That's all that's there. I almost question if that's even there. And if it is, it's very smooth. So all it boils down to is this: the person who made the video is anti-black. This Thomas Greenburg who reposted it and then left that caption up there is anti-black themselves. And the people in the comments, with the exception of KG and the person who I got the actual story from, I think her name is Gabrielle, they are anti-black as well. They saw this and they took it and they ran with it. They didn't do not one lick of research. They just saw what they wanted to see, and they already had a preconceived notion about black people as it is, and that's why they decided to run with this story. I mean, the comments were overflowing with this post. It's so many. I would be here for over 2 hours probably going through every last thing that these people said. And I'm like, again, no fact checking whatsoever. They just took it and they ran with it. That's exactly why, you know, the video that I did, the one about the AI, about the Eric Darnell, and I came on there and a lot of people was giving me props for, you know, doing the proper research about that story before just running out there, because again, on the internet, people can put anything out there and people will believe it, especially if it fits a narrative. This right here fits a narrative. So what are we having in summary? You have an old story that happened 5 years ago involving a 53-year-old man named Daniel Briggs who attacked this elderly woman at the age of 60. Well, now that I think about it, they're not that far apart in age. He's 53 and she's 60. They were born in the same generation. That's crazy. Who attacked this woman. The fire department in New York found him and tackled him. And, you know, he had other priors attached to his name. Fast forward to 2025. You have this guy post up this video saying that it was a 17-year-old on a bike named Terrell Jackson. They used a picture of Ralph Yaw, who's not in New York. He's not 17 and his name is not Terrell. They said that his mother was trying to get $500,000, even though the black woman in the video is not his mother. She's someone who's attached to the actual case itself at the time. And then tried to say she tried to sue the department $500K, but then the judge is not allowing it to happen, and that he's going to face charges, and that the fire department should receive a medal. You find the actual article itself, and the people don't believe it when the article is presented right there, because they don't research and they don't read. They believe their lying eyes, especially when it comes to dealing with us. This is why I say all the time, they are their clansesters, and the motto kicks in here. The foundation of every grifter's grift is the degradation of black people, especially foundational black Americans.